Hello, welcome back to another episode of Transfer Portal CFB presented by No Context CFB. You got Andrewster and I back here today to do what exactly?
Well, we're going to be talking some NFL draft prospects. It's that time of the year. It's always that time of the year, but we're getting close to the season, so let's talk about some.
Are people going to throw some hate at us for doing this in July, early July?
No, because people will do it the day after the draft, which I'm a fan of, but I need a little break after the draft. So I take a few weeks off, but we're back in it. And, there's a lot of intriguing prospects to watch this year.
There are, and what we did last year was Andrew and I straight up told you 20 prospects that you need to know for that 22 draft. You told everyone, dude, Kenny Pickett is that guy, pal, and he was.
And you criticized the pick. Let's not just skip over
that. I did. So my mind was blown by how elite Kenny Pickett was last year. It was a tremendous step in his development. Like, thrilled for him. Good for him.
Yeah, and what I'll say is, in a few minutes I'll talk about my quarterback for this year. We could see that type of a meteoric rise for him as well.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, look, I'm not talking about my quarterback that I think is going to have a meteoric rise. And Devin Leary, if you want to go, watch my video on Leary, I got that. There's a few other players I'm not doing them on, like Zachary Franklin and JL Skinner. And there's a lot, or Kim Jarrett. Like, there's a lot of guys I've already done videos on, so I kind of want to, talk about 10 other guys. And I'll get into that real quick. But Andrew, if you got anything else to say before we kick this off.
I'll give a little hint at another one of my picks. We may see a little bit of overlap from last year.
Dun dun dun.
In cue the Jaws music. Dun, dun.
Sure.
Or would that really, you know what? I'm not good with editing or music. It doesn't fit at all. Liam, just start talking football. That's what we're here for.
You should have told everyone at home watching to make sure to like and subscribe. That's important. Comment. Giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So be on the lookout for that. Please help us get there and we'll help you out eventually. And also take notes because we hit on a lot of guys last year. We're going to hit on a lot more this year. First guy, an Albany transfer that's now playing at Florida State, a dominant edge rusher that is going to crush it, Jared Verse. Am I a little early to the party on this one? Because I don't think I am. Like, I think he's got a good enough little cult following, But this kid is really good. And his redshirt sophomore season is going to be exhilarating for us to watch. I think he's as good as gone after this 2022 season. I know a lot of people are going to think that first time playing D1 ball, FBS ball, he's gone. Like, he's going to stay for 2023. I think he's gone. In 15 games, he's recorded 74 total tackles, 21 and a half tackles for losses, 14 and a half sacks to go with 15 QB hurries. Andrew, our offensive lineman's safe against this guy. Our quarterback's in grave danger.
Let's just say, Jaden Daniels, be scared. Be very scared.
So, like, a lot of people are going to hate because it's like FCS competition, but what? Do you not know who was trying to get him in the transfer portal? Do you want to go tell all the SEC schools who have grown men dominating in the trenches that they are making a mistake going after a guy from Albany? Do you want to go tell Lincoln Riley, the transfer portal guru or whatever, out west that he was making a mistake? No, everyone knows that this kid is mad talented and that he's going to tear it up. Now, look, he went to Florida State because he wanted to go to the place that he believed will get him to the pros fastest. Like, he thinks that this spot is the perfect thing he needs to get to the NFL. And we saw that with Jermaine Johnson II going to Florida State and crushing it, getting real good NFL stock versus that next guy. And I think he's going to become a better prospect than Johnson II was. You've got terrific speed Don't give me that face.
No, I'm just saying that's very high praise because Jermaine Johnson was a 26th overall pick.
Man, thought he would go top 10.
Yeah. Me included, and still surprised he didn't.
Yeah, Verse though has terrific speed and power. He's just able to succeed on nearly every rep, and his get off is insane. Absolutely insane. He's 6'4", 251, and has tremendous arm length. I don't, but I'm not an edge rusher, so
what?
I'm not talking myself up as a prospect, man. Only a quarterback. Well,
and speaking of quarterback, let's talk up my favorite prospect.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done. Okay. Well, you made it seem like it when you brought up quarterback.
No, I'm infatuated.
I told you before, I'm going to use my first one as quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'm infatuated with Versus bull rush and what he displays and drives the tackle back with superhero-like strength. I'm sure you might have a superhero comp for him. I don't know. Definitely not a player comp guy, though. And just he's able to get his hands on the quarterback with great determination and creativity. Is really cool how he's able to find ways to attack the quarterback. This is a guy that has a multi-sport background. He played basketball as well as track in high school. He also played tight end. Super athletic dude. And I'm expecting him to dominate in 2022. And I think he will be a first-round pick in next year's draft. If I want to play it safe, like top 40, 45, 50 pick, whatever. But I think he chose the right spot, and he's going to rise up so many draft boards. That's Jared Verse from Florida State by way of Albany.
You know, Albany does create NFL talent. So am I now allowed to talk about my quarterback?
I mean, you should probably talk about me at quarterback first, but yeah,
right.
Go ahead, man.
Liam Blutman, I gave him a UDFA grade.
That's ridiculous.
You can't throw a ball more than 20 yards.
That's just not true.
Okay. Here's a challenge for everybody. You need to film yourself throwing a ball more than 20 yards. Go to a local Vegas high school football field, take a football, don't deflate it like Tom Brady, throw that thing 20 plus yards.
I'm like 5 minutes away from Gorman. I just don't know if they want such a great quarterback prospect out there.
You know what? I bet they would like a quarterback. I just don't think it's you.
I'm also too old to play high school football.
Just fake a birth certificate or whatever. Do like
I am McLovin.
You are McLovin.
Let's go.
What? Okay, you know what? That's enough talk about McLovin.
Please talk about your quarterback.
That is an amazing movie. My quarterback. If you know me over the last few weeks, months, however long, I've been infatuated with Cameron Ward. Now you're probably thinking, FCS transfer going to Power 5. This guy must be good. Well, let me tell you, he's very good. He gets his former head coach at UIW to go with him to be the offensive coordinator under Jake Dickert's staff at Wazoo. Cameron Ward throws one of the nicest balls in the country. I said it. Yes, you have a lot of these elite quarterbacks. Cameron Ward, my gosh, watching him throw a football is just beautiful. It's a work of art. It's like watching Bob Ross paint on a football field. It is that nice. When someone says, how do you define touch on a throw? Just show them Cam Ward highlights. It's that simple. I mean, Ward is just that good with a football in his hands. He has great pocket presence. He doesn't really leave a clean pocket, and he's not hurrying to leave one that kind of is collapsing. He'll stand in there, he'll make a throw, but if he knows that, hey, I don't have much time, he'll get outside and he'll create room and he'll create time for his receivers. My gosh, his big time throws. I want to say there was one against Southeastern Louisiana, and he just had a dime over the middle, close to like 50 yards. I want to say he had pressure in his face as well, rolling out right, and he just threw a beautiful ball. That was a heck of a game, by the way. If you want to watch back an FCS playoff game, I highly encourage Incarnate Word versus Southeastern Louisiana. Battle of Cam Ward versus Cole Kelly. Just an elite FCS quarterback matchup. And I want to make one thing clear. This is your reminder. This is your yearly reminder. Arm talent does not mean throwing a ball 70 yards on one knee. That means you have arm power and strength. Arm talent means you can make tight window throws and you have great velocity behind your balls. And of course, you need to be able to throw the ball far if you want to have every facet of talent. Cam Ward has all of those. He doesn't have, 75-yard arm throwing ability, but he has what you need. He has great zip on his throws. He has great touch on his throws, like I already talked about. He can make those tight window throws. He's able to drop it in a bucket. And he's also mobile. Like, he's not a Lamar Jackson type runner, but he's going to be able to run the ball. He's going to be able to get yards. He's able to create time. Just because someone isn't the fastest quarterback doesn't mean that they're not great at creating time, because at the end of the day, all you really need to do is use your legs to accentuate your arm. Now, anything past that is just a plus, a big plus, but he uses his legs to accentuate his arm. One thing I love about Cam Ward, and I'm going to make a bold claim. I don't know how bold this is depending on your opinion of other Pac-12 quarterbacks. Cam Ward's going to be a top 3 Pac-12 quarterback this year. It'll be him, Caleb Williams, and Cameron Rising.
We both agree with that.
In fact, I think he can be very well top 2. I won't say who.
We both also said that we think he could be the best quarterback in the Pac-12 by season's end.
Both Liam and I are not super high on Caleb Williams.
No, I think Caleb Williams is great. I'm not like high on him, but I like him a lot. I think he is really good.
I like his talent. I just want to see him develop more.
Yeah, after this year of development, he's going to be insane going into the next season. He's going to tear it up next year. Just straight up looking at this season, I guess we're not high on Caleb for 2022 because we think Ward is going to be better by season's end. I don't know. I'm not trying to take away from Williams' talent or anything. I think he's tremendous.
Yeah, he'll be a round 1 prospect going into 2024. He'll probably end up being top quarterback prospect going into the 2024 process.
He's chilling. But just what we're looking at from Ward is, first off, bet him to win the Heisman because plus 10,000 or whatever is ridiculous value. You might as well take it. We're going this. The ideal situation here is that we're getting Bailey Zappi 2.0, kind of like that, right? With Kitley and Zappi crushing it. Now you want Morris and Ward to do it, obviously at a better school though, better program in Wazoo, but you're looking for that same level of meteoric success right off the bat. What I'm hopeful for is that Cam Ward in the Pac-12 will give us shades of what Khalil Tate did on a national recognition level, like the whole country tuning in to watch Khalil every single week. That's not something that really happens all the time out west. I think people are going to stay up to watch Cam Ward. They're going to fall asleep watching because they're just tired. That probably wasn't the best thing to say, but he's going to be doing amazing things and they're just going to fall asleep because they can't hang. Whatever. Cam Ward's going to be ridiculous. I can't wait to see how he grades out as an NFL QB prospect.
Yeah, I want to bring up one more thing. We talked about him as a Heisman. And this is a decent if, because what I'm about to say could be a little bold. If Washington State finds a way to beat their toughest non-conference opponent that I can remember, at least Wisconsin, his Heisman odds are going to skyrocket, or would they go down tremendously? Technically the numbers going down, but his odds are going.
I would say skyrocket.
His odds are going to skyrocket because Wisconsin is going to have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the country. But Cam Ward is, I don't remember Wisconsin's schedule off the top of my head, could very well end up being the best quarterback they play. I don't know if they play CJ Stroud in Ohio State, but I think they don't. I think they play Michigan, but that's going to be a tough game. Wisconsin cannot overlook Washington State. If we're looking at that game and Wisconsin's like, okay, let's look ahead a little bit. It's Wazoo. Who cares? They're going to lose that game. They're going to lose. Their offense is not good enough.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch. I cannot wait to watch them.
That should be a national primetime game. Washington State, Wisconsin. Who the heck would have thought that 5 years ago, or 2 years ago, I should say, because those Gardner Minshew days were elite in Poland.
Wazoo's always got sick quarterback play, and I'm kind of sad that that's the one QB that we're talking about today, but he deserves it. So no hate. Again, my dude as well, Devin Leary. You can check that video out. But I need to get into one of our guys. Had him on for an interview the other month. Florida International receiver by way of Fort Scott JC and Sacred Heart, Tyrese Chambers. electric receiver that straight up told me he's looking to accumulate 2,000 receiving yards this season. That's a big goal.
I mean, that's massive.
Yeah, and he's a 6'1", 185-pound deep threat that just torched defenses last year for 1,074 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns with 45 catches. Look, he's trying to get 90 to 100 catches this year, just double those stats, and he's at 2K. He had like 23 yards per reception, whatever the math is.
Insane.
Something crazy like that. He was top 2 or top 3. He's going to demand a lot of attention this season on the FIU team that's won like 1 game in the last 2 years. Like, they're not a desirable watch, but this guy is. He is an incredible receiver, and I believe him when he says he's going to go out there and get 2K this year. I think he's going to get dangerously close, if not break it. You're looking at a guy that broke multiple records last year, including the single season receiving yards leader in FIU school history. T.Y. Hilton owned that. He no longer does. Him and T.Y. Have been working together. T.Y.'s been helping Tyrese out to become the best receiver possible, best NFL prospect possible. You better believe Tyrese is in line for a big 2022. He has ridiculous upside. He has game-breaking speed, tremendous concentration, and immaculate hands. I thought it was really cool when we interviewed him that he remembered vividly the 2 drops he had last season and described them both with great anger that they happened. But he described both drops. Like, he remembers the drops more than he remembers the catches, I swear. Like, he's just a great player that knows what it's all about. He's gonna burn anybody deep, and he'll just straight up laugh in the end zone after he's scoring 6. Like, it's just how it be. I love his confidence and his abilities, and he backs up the talk with elite play, obviously. And I know he'll make a positive impact in the NFL one day. I just hope that talent evaluators don't sleep on him. I know NFL draft Twitter is going to like him when they discover him, but Tyrese Chambers is going to be a one to watch. I promise.
Yeah, you talked about Florida International sucking. Outside of Tyrese Chambers, he's the bright spot. They're 1-16 in their last.
It's not great.
Yeah, Butch Davis, get your stuff together, man. Come on. But no, Tyrese Chambers, he's also just so funny. So, I mean, that interview was amazing, which, by the way, y'all should check out on the Transfer Portal CFB YouTube channel. Liam and Dylan did a great job. Tyrese, amazing. So yeah, and he's a very talented wide receiver as well. He's gonna probably end up with the best stats out of any wide receiver this year, if I had to guess.
And that's gonna surprise people, but
which it shouldn't.
He is going to be the focal point of that offense. And one thing I should say right before you go into your next player, Tyrese was in the transfer portal end of last season. In early December. He was in there for a little while, kind of scoping out offers, see where he could possibly land. Had some really strong offers, including Mississippi State in that pass heavy attack. He had really good offers. He was looking for an offer from Miami. He was just looking to be seen by them. Miami, despite their lack of depth at receiver, said straight up, they didn't say anything. They didn't contact him. That's a chip on his shoulder. He's kind of mad about that. He wasn't exactly looking to transfer while he was in the portal. He was look for opportunity. Miami would have been Miami had the best chance out of any school at landing him, and they didn't even contact him, which is ridiculous. Whatever.
Especially seeing that Miami's wide receiver core this year is not good. It's not good by any means. And Tyler Van Dyke, super talented. Imagine TVD throwing to Tyrese. Oh my gosh.
Super fun.
I mean, just buy your ticket to the ACC championship if you're a Miami fan. But no, because they just decided to ignore talent. I mean, what is it with Florida and the state of Florida, not just the Gators? What is it with the state of Florida's Power 5 programs just ignoring top talent? Miami ignored Tyrese Chambers. And there was a story that came out this last week about Florida State not getting back to a top 10 recruit that wanted.
What?
No, there was a top 10 recruit. I want to say a corner out of somewhere in the state of Florida. Golly. And he released his top 10. And there were a lot of people wondering, where the heck is Florida State? He literally just outwardly said they never got back to me. Come on.
That's insane. And how
That's
about
so
what?
sad. I feel bad for him because obviously if you're saying stuff like that, you had that small part of you. It's like, maybe I kind of want to go to Florida State.
Yeah.
I mean, you could
be a part of the rebuild, like be a part of bringing rebuild. That program back.
They produce a lot of great defensive backs, but man, like, what is it? What is wrong with y'all? There's a lot of talent in this country, and y'all not talking to all of them. Hello,
South Florida. Trevor Sikkema telling us they didn't contact Tank Dell.
I mean, so it's not just the Power Five. I mean, USF. That's a different story.
Yeah, you should get on to your second player though. We got a lot more players to talk about.
Yeah, you've talked about 2. I've talked about 1. This is going to be a long video. Strap in. I talked about earlier before we started talking about everybody. I have a little bit of overlap from last year, and that's because there's a player that got hurt last year that is staying at his college. That college is the University of Georgia. The Dogs are getting a talented safety back. They lost Lewis Sean in the first round this year. So who else to replace him in the starting lineup than Ty T. Smith? The West Virginia transfer, he's going to come in. I think he'll probably end up playing a little bit more slot than like a nickel or like a safety, strong safety. He'll probably play more in the slot. My gosh, I love his versatility. One thing that I've heard for years and I've never completely understood, there's so many people that discredit safeties that are under 6 foot. Why? Just tell me why. Give me a few examples why. Of course, you want guys that are taller because you want to be the tallest, fastest, strongest, biggest, best team in the country. But what if the best player isn't the tallest? What if the best player isn't the fastest or the strongest? That's not always the case. You don't always have to have every physical trait to be the best. And I'm not saying Tyke Smith is the best because I don't believe that, but he's still very freaking talented. He's 5'10", 198, and people are going to see the first thing. They're going to see those numbers and be like, oh, man, he's going to go a little bit lower because he's shorter. I don't freaking care. And I can say this because one of my favorite players in 2020, no bias by any means, was Antoine Winfield Jr. Liam knows that for a fact. You know, he was
right there with you.
He was like 5'9". He should have been a top 20 pick. And now he's one of the best safeties in the NFL. Okay. We can just get rid of that whole, we can get rid of that whole height thing because Earl Thomas was also short. He's one of the best safeties from when I was growing up, that Legion of Boom team. So can we just please stop with height being the end all be all for safeties? I hate people discrediting short safeties. Rant over. Thank you. But Tyke Smith, super versatile. He'll play in the slot. He can play nickel. He can play strong safety, play all those at a high level. I don't really think free safety is his game. I love him in coverage. Super smart. Has all the athleticism you need from a guy like that. He'll get up in the run. Super physical. I just think Tyke Smith is a defensive coordinator's dream. He's a chess piece that can move anywhere. He's not really the queen. He's like the bishop or the rook. You know, you put him right here, he's going to do his job. He can move wherever the heck he wants to, and he'll play at a high level. He's someone that you want on your team. He's not someone that you want to scheme against.
I think your best comp would have been the Knight, right? Because they'd be moving like, you know, I think they have a lot more movement and versatility, I guess.
Known chess experts, Liam Blutman and Andrew Wilson, talking to you about comparing players to chess pieces because that's what we do.
I would say he's a Knight. I think it's more versatile piece. Not great for end game, but
now see, I would want him in game. Like that's why I think
I know. Should we drop this?
No, I actually think this is very fun. In fact, maybe we should create a YouTube video comparing NFL draft prospects to chess pieces.
Why not? I'm with it. I don't care.
Now the thing is, who's going to be a pawn? Because I feel like a pawn is a massive just shade thrown.
Yeah, you got to. I think I'll refrain from saying anything.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, perfect. A pawn is an offensive lineman because they're there to protect the other pieces and protect the king, which is CJ Stroud. Boom.
That's true. So fine. I wasn't going to talk about an offensive lineman here, but I might as well. Cedric Van Pran, center from Georgia. I believe him to be the best center in the country. I think he will. I think he should be considered as a late first round pick. He should definitely be an early second round pick, though. If not, dude is good. And please make no mistake about it. Centers are prime prospects to cover. They are sick. This guy is a monster in the trenches, 6'4", 310. Guess what? He starred in all 15 of Georgia's games in 2021. He played 90% of their offensive snaps all season, which was the most on the team. He played every single offensive snap in 8 games. He's a workhorse. He's a warrior. Please keep in mind that he was a redshirt freshman. He's only going to get better. He paved the way for Georgia's rushing game that totaled for 190.9 rushing yards per game last year. He was part of that historic national championship winning Georgia team, and the sky's the limit for this guy. Plenty of eyes are going to be on Georgia this upcoming season because they're reigning national champs. They're going to be watching a lot of really intriguing defensive pieces as well as some really enticing offensive pieces. When they start diving into the offense, Jordan Davis taking carries out of the backfield isn't going to be there this year. You're going to have to look for a different monster. Van Pran is that dude. SVP is nasty. He's just nasty. He's so good in the run game. As a pulling blocker, he's an absolute wrecking ball looking to inflict major damage. Please keep your head on a swivel, defenders, or I don't want to say you might get decapitated. That would be cool. But you don't want to you don't want to get popped by this dude. You just don't. So please be aware of Cedric Van Pran. He's a mauler with nimble feet. He moves really, really well, regardless of his size. He plays with that mentality that the play's not over until he attacks you and gets you on the ground, and then the whistle blows and you're the defender pulling turf out of your helmet. Like, I don't know. I really like watching Van Pran play. He does good work as a pass protector too, with good upper body. With, I won't say good, that's kind of mean. With excellent upper body strength. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's the best center in the country, and more people need to start talking about Cedric Van Pran.
Yeah, I love SVP. I love SVP. He's a great center. He has a great show on ESPN.
Yeah,
great all the. Yep. I was hoping that would do a little bit better, but not all my jokes can hit. Not that any of them do. But yeah, I love him as a center. I think he is definitely a great draft prospect. Should I stay on offense or should I go to a defensive prospect, Liam? I'll let you decide this one.
Defense.
Okay, so we're gonna stay at Georgia.
That's what I wanted.
For the third straight pick. So we obviously just talked about Georgia center. Well, who goes against the center? Defensive tackles.
Oh my gosh, we really did just go back to
back. Yep. So you know what? Maybe Georgia can go back to back. We'll see that in about 2 and some change years. But Jalen Carter, we've talked a lot about some, under the radar guys. I just need to talk about dominance for a second. Jalen Carter is a dude. He is quite literally and plays for the Dogs. He is a dog. Remember that YouTube video that came out a few years ago? There was that Indiana high school player. He was just naming his teammates dog. Jalen Carter is a dog. I mean, dominance from the inside. He's able to create pressure. He was the best defensive lineman on Georgia last year. I respect Jordan Davis. I respect Trevon Walker. They don't have the same needle moving as Jalen Carter. When you can create that much pressure from the inside and have that much explosiveness for being 6'3" and 310, you move the needle. Jalen Carter probably ends up top 10, top 15, which is pretty dang high for a defensive tackle, and usually I'm against that. But with how much of a game changer Jalen Carter is and how well he fits into the current gameplay of the NFL, where you need to have pressure from the inside. Look at the top 10 defensive tackles in the NFL right now. I'm pretty sure you can find any list. You will all see that one of their best strengths is their ability to not only just create pressure, but just make it easier for everybody on the outside to get pressure. But you can't just be solo teamed, because if they do that, the offensive lineman will be on the ground crying for his mommy. Jalen Carter is that guy, top 15 minimum, in my opinion, best defensive lineman on Georgia, I freaking love him. He just plays with that energy that you love to see a defense lineman. He has no regard for human life in a good way. And my gosh, he's so fun to watch. So fun to watch. Like watching Jalen Carter is like listening to a motivational speech. You just get pumped up and you want to run through a concrete wall.
You want to run through a concrete wall right now?
I kind of do. Like I have an empty wall right over there. Sure, I'll be running into like half dirt because I'm in a basement. But you know what? I might do it. Who's gonna stop me? That wall? Nope.
All right, man. Look, I have a decision to make. Do we stay in Georgia for another prospect? We might as well, right?
As long as it's like Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I mean, you do know it's Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
Elite cornerback, in my opinion. That I'm devastated his 2021 season was taken from him due to injury. Derek Canteen. He's one of my favorite players in the country, straight up. Severely underrated. This is a guy that in 2020 allowed the second lowest passer rating in the country at 31.7. Who was number one? Sauce Gardner with 29.3. That tiny little difference between first and second, between two dang good cornerbacks. And we saw what Sauce Gardner was able to become with, what happened last year, and what happened in his pre-draft process and where he ended up going and what we will see him do in the NFL with some dominance. Canteen's not going to go that high, though. Obviously not, but this guy is really good, and he's good. And Georgia Southern has put out some pretty solid players, regardless of position. At corner, though, Kendall Vildor was able to get to the NFL, so like it can happen. He was prepared to crush it though last year before that season-ending injury, second game of the year. I viewed him as a top 5 corner in the country going into 2021. Like I'm not high on him. 5'11", put together that spectacular 2020 season. Gosh, these numbers are so hard. Whatever, though. As a redshirt freshman, he had 6 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. It's evident that college quarterbacks should not test guys like Canteen and Sauce, but they do. Why? Whatever.
They're stupid.
Yeah. Canteen is begging you. He's literally begging quarterbacks to throw it his way because his recovery and his breaking speed, his closing speed, it's innate. It's so innate. And he's just awareness-wise, super aware, and he's always going to make you pay. He's got a brilliant mind that's always on full display. I love watching him play. Watching him play, it's like you're watching a mad scientist. Does that work? I'm not an Andrewster comp guy. I'm really bad at this. I have no clue. I cannot think.
Hold up.
No.
Time out. Technical timeout, or whatever the heck that term is. How the heck does a corner compare to a mad scientist?
I don't know. I was thinking of like really good formulas and smarts. I don't know.
And smarts.
Yes, because I'm really bad at the whole Andrewster comp thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not everyone can compare a running back to that amphibian creature from Monsters Inc. I can't remember.
The only good thing I did was compare Noah Sewell to Bullet Bill from Mario Kart. That's all. That's the only good one I got. But Canteen has really, really great and sound footwork. His athleticism is seen when he's making diving interceptions and leaping ones as well. He really uses his arm super well in coverage. It bothers receivers a bunch. It really bothers me that he got 2021 taken away from him. I can't wait to see what he does in 2022, though. He's going to have a true shutdown CB1 season yet again. His draft stock will rise. I would say he's like a UDFA grade right now because nobody knows the guy is the issue. It's a shame. His draft stock should rise play, though. Derek Canteen's an exceptional player. When you watch him play at corner, you're going to fall in love with the prospect that he is. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about him. I could say bad things though, because I compared to a mad scientist, and that wasn't good.
I'd say that's more bad on you than him. You can't fault him for an awful comparison made by you.
Terrible.
Which one of the few comparisons you make, and it sucked.
That's why I don't do
it. Maybe you said he's got good closing speed. I haven't watched too much Canteen yet. Good closing speed. Maybe he's like an F1 car, quick turns. Obviously, quick excel.
I want to move on from this.
Okay, and going from F1 cars to a 6'7", 270-pound behemoth of a tight end. Which, by the way, if you watch him, he doesn't look that large. Like, he doesn't look that bulky. He looks a little bit taller, a little bit leaner. But my gosh, he can still block like he's got that weight on him. His name is Brevin Spanford, tight end from St. Cloud, Minnesota. And he plays at Minnesota. What a shocker. And of course, you know me, I had to talk about a Minnesota guy, but he's actually a really good tight end that isn't getting enough coverage. So let's just start with this. He is an athletic freak. 6'7", 270 pounds. You think, oh yeah, he's a little bit larger guy, can high point the ball. Yeah, he can do all that. He can also hurdle defenders like Najee Harris. Najee hurdles 6'7". Did that multiple times last year. I might need two hands to think about the amount of times he hurdled a defender. I know he did one against, I believe it was Ball State. I believe there was one against Indiana. I watched that clip today. It was phenomenal. And I'm sure there were many more I can't remember. I watched some live. They were insane. He has that athleticism at 6'7" as a tight end. And they weren't like, he barely jumped. No, these were freaking mega jumps. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is now to describe Brevin Spanford. He's that athletic. And might I add, athleticism over the last few years has become a more desirable trait for tight ends when it comes to NFL front offices. Take this example. Jelani Woods was, I believe, the second tight end drafted this year out of Virginia. Am I correct on that, Liam?
I believe so. Really bad with numbers.
Yeah, I forgot you have the discalculated thing. I believe he went later in the second round because he is 6'7" and an athletic freak. Now, I'm not going to compare the two because I don't like comparisons, even though I have a comparison lined up for a player we'll talk about down the line. But I love his receiving ability. He's able to high point the ball. He's a red zone threat, especially when Minnesota runs their wildcat form with Cole Kramer in at quarterback. He's amazing at high pointing the ball. Great receiver. I love his ability to separate. He's got soft hands, really doesn't drop the ball too much. And when it comes to Minnesota, a tight end has to block. Now, he's not a co-keep blocker where he's going to get drafted because he's a blocker. He's not an inline blocker, but he's still a good blocker. You're not going to line him up on the line of scrimmage, but he's not by any means a bad blocker. He's just not a co-keefed like blocker. And if you don't know co-keefed, he's literally an offensive lineman that played tight end.
Co knows football. Who cares about Bo? Co knows football. My Buccaneers fans, they know what's up. But yeah, I love Brevin Spanford. He is an amazing receiver. He's a good blocker. Not his game, but obviously you want your tight ends to be able to block. I love him to rise up a ton, especially in a Kurt Shiraka offense where he got his start. He's going to get a lot more targets this year just based off the fact that Shiraka is going to be able to have a lot more short routes, get people open. That's going to help Chris Bell. It's going to help Daniel Wright. And it's especially going to help Brevin Spanford, who, if Tanner Morgan can, become a little bit more consistent, a little bit more accurate on his balls like he had sometimes this last year, Brevin Spanford's going to have a massive year. And he's going to be said a lot more by experts, by analysts, by everybody. He's going to be a name you need to be watching right now. Be early on the Brevin train. Choo choo. We're getting ready for the rise because it's coming. What's going to happen is everyone's going to act like they were always his biggest fan after.
Oh, of course.
After that combine.
The dude's an athletic freak at 6'7". Like, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, 6'7" tight ends. I believe Austin Allen and Jelani Woods were 6'7" tight ends last year. And Jelani Woods, he was athletic freak at the combine. Everyone watched him. Everyone was like, oh, yeah, this dude's freaking insane. I've been on him ever since I watched, Virginia football as a baby. But no, get on the Brevin train.
Where were they tweeting about Jelani Woods when it was just me tweeting about him in the Shrine Bowl? Where were they then?
Yeah, shout out my hotel for not letting me watch the Shrine Bowl, and shout out my provider for not letting me watch it on my phone. That sucks for me. but I was also out on business. So
business at the Senior Bowl.
It was business. It was fun.
Yeah, it was business. It was a business trip.
It was fun business. I took a day at the beach, but it was still business.
It was a business trip. The next guy I'm going to talk about, look, Utah. They put out Devin Lloyd last year. What are you doing with your eyes? What's that?
Do we have the same player?
I don't think so. I'm talking about Clark. I'm talking about Clark.
Why did you bring up Devin Lloyd then?
Because he terrorized defense last year and he worked his way to being a first-round pick. Utah.
Okay, talk about Clark. He's insane. Talk about Clark.
Yeah, Clark Phillips III, quarterback, Utah. Again, they helped put out Devin Lloyd last year. Clark is going to be another first-round pick from Utah. I don't know why Andrew's tripping over that. He's just going to be the next defensive stud from Utah. And Utah has a long line of really good defenders coming out and can to the NFL. This is that next guy. Also, he just happens to be the highest rated recruit in Utah football history. So, like, there's that. This is a guy who was formerly committed to some school in Columbus, Ohio State. He ends up spurning them, going to Salt Lake City. And to no surprise, this highly coveted recruit has started in all 19 games at Utah, and he's thrived often. 5'10", plays with a big heart and beaming football IQ. 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. Yes, 66% of his interceptions go back to the cribbo. 15 passes to defend, 88 total tackles. He possesses great physical tools. He times his swipe downs to break up a pass very, very well. Elite closing speed helps him make strong tackles. He made an incredible tackle against JSN, I believe.
Yeah.
Or am I? And then he had the recovery to catch up to JSN, force that fumble.
Yeah.
Dude he's a gamer. I love how he closes the gap on receivers trying to separate, and he will enter this draft. I truly believe that. He's going to be a 21-year-old rookie in the NFL. Love to see that. You also love to see he broke out in college football in the Pac-12 as an 18-year-old freshman during the pandemic. That's really impressive. That's super impressive. I just think, dude, with superb coverage skills, great physicality, and the heart of a lion, Clark Phillips III is going to be a fascinating 2023 NFL draft prospect. You do be good at football.
You know, Utah does create a lot of defensive talent. And yeah, that Rose Bowl for him was insane. He was going to be one of the biggest reasons if Utah was able to hold on to that game, that they would have won that game. But obviously they didn't because CJ Stroud and JSN are just nutso.
It's crazy to say, though, that in that game with how many points were scored, with how dominant Stroud and JSN were, Phillips still had a good game.
Oh,
like, it's
great.
Crazy. It just goes to show how great those two are. But yeah.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Buckeyes. We're here to talk about Utes. And the reason I looked at Liam like that when he started talking about, Devin Lloyd and Utah is because I have a current Utah linebacker, and I'm going to butcher this name probably, Mohamed Diabate. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, which is weird because I've seen multiple places listed his name as something different. Different spelling, so I didn't know if that was the correct pronunciation, but I guess I got it. So woohoo for me. Mohamed Diabate, Utah now by way of Gainesville, Florida, of the Florida Gators. Look, I hate comparisons by all means, but with what you see with the athleticism, what you see with the frame, you can probably tell Utah was like, man, we could probably get some sort of a Devin Lloyd out of this. Great in coverage, just like Devin Lloyd. And Liam knows I hate coverages, or I hate comparisons. I love coverage. Hate comparisons.
What we need to do from now on is when you and I do videos, we need to have a counter that counts how many times we both combine to say, I hate comparisons.
I hate
player comps. Like, what are we at? Like 12?
Now, see, here's a counter we need to just have for the rest of our draft videos. How many times do we say we hate comparisons, and how many times do we compare players to inanimate objects?
A lot.
Probably me more.
Yeah, you more because, again, I'm really bad at scientists, really.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome Ford was just Randall from Monsters Inc. Slithery.
Yeah.
But back to Diabate, Florida transfer. I love his frame, 6'3", 227. Great in coverage. I just think that this was one of the best decisions a transfer could make. You know, going from Florida, where you have we all have different opinions about Billy Napier and his squad. They're unproven at Florida. They're unproven in the SEC. Great at Louisiana. Great at ULL. Great at Lafayette. Whatever the heck you want to call that college. But they're not proven in the SEC. I want to go to a proven program in the West that, you know, churns out defensive talent. Whittingham's one of the best coaches in the country. And Diabate made the decision, hey, they just produced one of the best linebackers in the country. I have the frame that he has. I have athleticism. I'm good in coverage. Let's see if they can work that magic on me, because the potential is there 100%. If they can just work that coaching into him, Diabate can be a first-round prospect.
I think that's a statement that holds so much praise for the development team at Utah.
Oh, they're so good. Like, we don't talk enough about Utah because over the last, I'd say 10, 15 years, we've lost the allure of West Coast football. It's always been about the South, and it's always been about Clemson and Ohio State outside of them. But Utah and Whittingham do not get enough credit for the work that they do there. You know, they're not a national championship contender outside of this year, which you could say they're a playoff contender, but they always have consistent defensive talent coming out. And I really wish that they got more national media, you know, coverage than they did, but hopefully they get it this year because they definitely deserve it for the team they're about to have.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to go and talk about tight end. I'm sorry to Andrew. It's an Iowa tight end.
He's great. He's great.
Sam Laporta. He will be a 22-year-old rookie. Love that. And look, just straight up, you know, advice or warning or whatever. You're not going to see jaw-dropping production from an Iowa tight end. Like, that's just not how they do it. What you are going to see is a developed product that was prepared to succeed in the NFL, and that will be right for whatever the NFL has to throw at them. 6'4", 249. He's a machine that goes to war on every single rep. In 3 years, look, he only has 4 receiving touchdowns in 3 seasons, 95 catches, 1,129 receiving yards. The production's just not the thing at Iowa. It's just not. But you're looking at, you know, a really good athlete too, because he played receiver in high school. He played defensive back in high school. He started his career at Iowa as a tight end. He didn't even need a redshirt year, despite playing receiver and defense back in high school. Just went straight to Iowa, played tight end. Sounds a lot. Ball skills and body control are insane. You know what background helps that? Probably playing receiver and defensive back.
Yeah.
You're essentially looking at a receiver in a tight end's body. The guy is really good. His footwork is super pure. Route running is nasty. He's smooth, like capital SMOOTH. Smooth. I spelled smooth right. Don't give me that look.
I was making sure you did.
I know how to spell. I don't know how to. I know how to spell. I don't know how to count. I don't know how to count.
That's a debate we can have. I don't know if you can spell all the way correctly.
Transfer portal CFB spelling bee coming soon. We'll spell players' names.
Spell Albert Okwuegbunam.
I'm actually good. I'm going to start talking more about Sam Laporta, though, who is dynamic after the catch. It's all about that background that he's got. Like, that plays such a huge role in what he'll become. He has the traits of that receiver in tight end's body. It's great. You're pairing that receiver like yards after a catch skills with really strong toughness and the massive frame of that tank that he's become. It's really tough to defend. He's a guy that's going to project really well at the next level. He's going to be a better NFL player than he was the college tight end. NFL draft people are going to fall in love with him, and they're going to see these traits. When you're looking at blocking too, you know Iowa tight ends will block. He's gotten better in his development as a blocker year after year after year. Can't wait to see what he could do in 2022. And he's gonna have a really good NFL career, I think. Like he what's the word? I don't know. I don't know what the word is. I can't think of it. But he sets himself up really nicely for NFL football. That's all. Blossoming talent at tight end. Don't sleep on Sam Laporta. Even if you're an Iowa hater, which Andrew still thinks Laporta's good. So it's all good.
Yeah, I don't hate Iowa players that are going to be great NFL draft prospects. I just hate Iowa as a program. I hate their coach. I hate their fan base. I hate pretty much almost everything they do.
Mean.
Yeah, I'm mean. I'm mean to Iowa. I'm mean to Wisconsin. I'm mean to Nebraska. I'm mean to Michigan. I'm mean to everybody, and I love it. And I like when people are mean to me. It's college football. You got to hate everybody.
Wait, is your next prospect a Bowling Green player?
See, if it was, I would say, you know what, this guy's gonna be so good. He's gonna be the reason they beat UCLA week 1.
That's okay. Go on to your next player, though. I know he doesn't play at Bowling Green.
Also, I will say the reason Laporta isn't, the best statistically is because his quarterback is the definition of garbage. Petrus, you suck.
I didn't want to say it.
No, I'll say it. I'll say it every day. Spencer Petrus is the worst quarterback in the Big Ten West, and that's like saying you're the worst everything. Like I can't even get him, man. I can't even think of an analogy because of how bad he is. I can't say, oh, he's the worst. I don't know. There's nothing you can think of because nothing's worse. But bygones be bygones. Bye, Iowa, you're gone. Let's go to another Big Ten team. I just realized how many Big Ten prospects I have.
Homer.
There was a wide receiver. What?
Homer.
Yes, because I'm a homer to schools like, I'll talk about a Maryland.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm a Big Ten fan. I forgot.
Yeah, you're also a
Big Ten fan. I love
that's your name on
Twitter. Yeah, woohoo! I forgot. Yeah.
I'll talk about a Maryland player in a few minutes. I had I talked about a Minnesota player, and I'm about to talk about a Penn State player, wide receiver. Now you're probably thinking, oh yeah, Mitchell Tinsley, Parker Washington, both very good. I'm gonna more focus on Parker Washington because he's returning, even though Tinsley's amazing. He did great stuff for Western Kentucky last year, being the second receiver behind Jared Stearns for that amazing offense. But watching Parker Washington, if you were a fan of Jahan Dotson last year, you should like Parker Washington. Now, I'm not going to say they're the same player because they're not. Parker Washington really doesn't have the long speed that Dotson had last year, but he's explosive. He is able to high point the ball, good footwork, good separation. One of my favorite things, and I apologize in advance. He has the ability to make multiple people miss in the open field and rack up the yak. Liam Blutman gives me the 2 thumbs up, so that's probably my best pun of the year. I will take my flowers now. But no, he's amazing with the ball in his hands. I love his ability to get yards after catch. I just think he's super consistent. I like him. He's got the explosiveness. He's going to be able to get the ball in his hands. And when he gets the ball in his hand, boy, it's tough to stop him. And it's not that he's just like slippery, because he's not even super slippery. He's tough. He is a tough guy. 5'10", 207. He is a tough guy. He's tough to take down. You can't just push him. He will stay on his feet. He's got good balance. And even if you push him super hard, he's going to get back up, wearing, ready to go.
I like that. I love the yak pun, man. Rack yak. Way to go.
Is that the first pun I've ever made that you liked?
Oh, I love them all, Dr. Seuss.
Okay. No, I'm not Dr. Seuss because Dr. Seuss did some bad stuff. I am my own person that makes my own puns.
Oh, my bad.
Do you know what Dr. Seuss did?
I don't think I'm aware.
I'm pretty sure he cheated on his wife while she was sick.
Oh, well, Dr. Seuss not a good dude. If I wanted to think of a rhyme though, I just don't got the time. Got him.
Yeah. He cheated on his wife. He was a waste of life.
I'm so sorry for calling you that. I'm so sorry for calling you that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not Dr. Seuss.
No, you're not.
I'm not a masseuse.
But not. No. Time is of the essence. I feel bad for people that are maybe watching this and they're excited for the other guys we're talking about. We kind of need to talk about them. Get over real quick. I don't know how to talk fast. Love a good small score running back. Don't you? I do. I really do.
I'm just cringing at the last line I made because I didn't.
Yeah, it was bad, man, but not bad. I think it's a bad man. Dwayne McBride, running back, UAB. Look, it's possible that he departs for the NFL after a productive 2022 season. It'd be a really good option for teams due to that value at running back and a star-studded running back class in 2023. Like, it's going to be really good. Teams are going to also need to look and really do their homework on the other guys. They're going to be there day 3 that they could invest in. McBride would be there. You're looking at someone who carried the load for UAB in sophomore season, proved to be very reliable. 13 games in 2021, 204 carries, 1.3K rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. In 2020, he was at like 9 yards per carry in a smaller, amount of touches. Sorry, the thing of words isn't whatever. I love, though, the 6.7 yards per carry for a guy that was averaging over 15 totes per game. You're looking at someone who's going to have an uptick in production this season. 5'11", 215-pound back, has plenty of more carries coming his way on a really good UAB team that will run the ball a lot when they're winning. They love bleeding the clock. He has great power in his legs, runs all over defenses with superb leg drive and determination. He's a thick running back with solid speed, all the heart you could ask for, exceptional toughness and strength. I really like his cutting ability too. Really solid agility and lateral movement. I think those two things, super underrated. I think he's immensely underrated as a whole. Stiff arm too, dude. Heck of a stiff arm that he places super well and times very well. It's filthy. Defenses struggle to stop the bowling ball of destruction that is Dwayne McBride. This is someone that you need to look at seriously for the 2023 NFL draft. It's going to be a 22-year-old rookie. He's a really good player, really good running back. I hit on the last 2 guys I was super high on, and Elijah Mitchell, and I haven't hit on Pierre Strong yet. Whatever, though, we go back to Kareem Hunt, guys. Whatever. I'm really good at finding good small school running backs, though. That's the point. Dwayne McBride, really good. Please invest in him. Take notes. Blah, blah, blah. Andrew Ster.
Yeah, I believe it was the Independence Bowl where he just murdered BYU in Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out Sickos. That was such a Sickos game, too. But, yeah.
It was.
UAB in line for massive year from McBride. So I'm now going to go to an ACC team, and I'm going to talk about, get ready to cringe on this one, Liam, the Italian Stallion. Get a thumbs up from that one?
Sure.
2 thumbs up, the Italian Stallion. Another name I might mess up, Habakkuk Baldonado. Believe I got that name right, 6'5", 260. He's only played football for a few years. He moved here from Italy, born in Rome, might I add, which I've heard is beautiful. Moved here from Rome, came a 3-star recruit, went to Pitt, and the rest is history. He had to sit for a little bit because, Pitt's defensive line always has some dudes on it. Jalen Twyman, Patrick Jones.
I knew that's the first name you were going to say.
What about Jalen Twyman? Like, why'd you think, that's the one he's going to say first?
I just knew you would say Twyman first. I don't know.
Oh, well, you were right. And now that Pitt defensive line isn't bad by any means. It's actually pretty dang good. Baldonado, Kalijah Kancey. That's going to be a tandem to watch for Pitt this year. That's going to be one of the main reasons they're going to, win a few games in the ACC. That defensive line's the same, but I'll focus on Baldonado, even though last year.
Say it with an Italian accent.
No, because I think I would get canceled for how bad it is. You know what? You want me to try?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Baldonado is the threats you can't teach. No, you can't. No.
Baldonado.
He has the length. He has the height. He has the speed that you want from an edge rusher.
I just meant say his name, not the entire sentence.
Okay, well, you didn't really specify that.
I thought it was clear. I just meant Baldonado.
Oh, so that's a great name, Habakkuk Baldonado.
Yeah,
it's just an insane name. The key for him is consistency. If he can kind of string everything together, he's got the stuff you can't teach. He's got the speed, he's got the length, he's got the height, he's got the power. He has all that. There's no doubt about that. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. If he can put out a consistent product this year, I think first round is pretty reasonable for Baldonado. Could he end up sliding a little bit? Yeah, I could see like early second, but I think if he has a good year, we're looking at a guy that could end up in the first round for Pitt.
So this could be another really good call from Andrew on the guy from Pitt. Just saying, he hit last year. I want to talk about guy from Syracuse, cornerback. Yeah, not the same guy as you. Cornerback Garrett Williams, gifted athlete, insane ball skills, stellar production. Who was the first guy? Okay, I gave away the answer already. Who was the first guy to pick 6 off of Trevor Lawrence?
Ifatu Melifonwu.
No.
I was thinking of another Syracuse corner.
I know. It was Garrett Williams.
Oh, well, probably makes a little more sense since you're talking about him and not Ifatu, but
makes a lot more sense.
A little bit. They both went to Syracuse, played corner. Both.
Dude, I even say gave away the answer. Whatever, dude. 6 foot, 189. He's put together 2 really strong seasons of production and tape. In 2020, he had 2 interceptions and 12 pass breakups in 11 games. Followed that up with 10 more pass breakups in 2021. Sky has earned a notable reputation around the ACC. Guys know they don't want to throw it anywhere near Garrett Williams, or they're making a mistake. He's an acrobat who can make freaky plays on play after play after play, creates turnover-worthy plays out of nothing. He boasts exceptional speed, breathtaking explosiveness, and aggressive closing speed. The closing speed obviously helps him cover ground and coverage, and then he just makes sick pass breakups. It's so fun watching him make a pass breakup. And then just in run support, you'll see him launching his body toward the ball carrier, blowing up plays consistently, tackles like a madman. This guy, Garrett Williams, unfortunately might not get the attention he deserves because he plays in Syracuse, and all the Syracuse love will be going Sean Tucker's way. Like that's probably what's going to happen. Don't look past Garrett Williams. I expect him to have another highly productive season. It's going to continue locking fools down. He has really good quarterback play that he's going to be facing on a week-to-week basis in the ACC. So when he's making these plays against really good quarterbacks that will be playing in the NFL, take notice. Like, it's very impressive. He should end up being a top 40 pick after he tests well. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's a first rounder, but I don't know. Being a kind of pessimistic guy with NFL draft talent evaluation could easily slip up and he only goes top 40 or maybe it's 50. If you ask me though, right now he's easily a first rounder in my opinion. His play speaks for itself. His profile speaks for itself. Garrett Williams is really very, very good at football. Really very good at football. Yeah?
I would hope so if you're talking about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talked about the athletic pass breakups. When I was watching him, like he had some similar breakups to one Andrew Booth last year, who had some pretty athletic breakups and was, I believe, a top 40 pick. Was he not 40 overall?
Numbers, I don't know.
There's a gnat on my ring light. Okay. Yeah. So you actually talked about a player I'll talk about. Actually, I'll just do it right now so we can kind of
you might as
get
well
out the
like
way.
We did with the
we've had a lot of
Booth was 42. Booth was 42.
Oh, yeah. So sorry about that. Maybe he's a top 42 player. But you talked about Syracuse. We both talked about Georgia. We both talked about what other school did we go back to back on? Did we go back to back on Utah? So Utah, Georgia, and now Syracuse are all going back to back. So fan bases of those schools, you finally get to be, super happy, except Utah is actually going to win something this year. But I'm going to talk about Sean Tucker. Not only is he an elite tweeter, he is an elite running back. It's always the babe, wake up, new Sean Tucker tweet. Well, babe, get ready. You need to listen to this because Andrew's about to talk about Sean Tucker as a football player. And I'm actually also going to sprinkle in a sleeper running back. I don't think Liam knows about this. I'm going to talk about 11th player. So just know if Tucker has daylight, good luck. You're not taking him down. He's going to be like one of those, you're on a horse riding off into the sunset. No one's stopping him. It's like the end of one of those Western movies. Galloping away, high speed, high power. Like you can't.
We got a good comp.
Yep. Sean Tucker is a horse. He's a workhorse. He gallops like a horse, and he's got that horse power. Ow! I just banged my pinky.
What is this video?
You know what? I don't know what this video is, but if you like it, make sure to click that like button, click that subscribe if you're on the YouTube. I don't know if this is going up on other platforms, but if it is, you know what? Hey, give us a subscribe, comment, whatever the heck they do over there, because we really appreciate it. And as Liam talked about earlier, we do have the giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. So,
and you can always comment. You can always comment what players that you think are going to be prime prospects.
Of course. We want to hear what we forgot about and what you believe. We want all of your takes. We want all of them in the comments. So come for the giveaway, stay for the content about, comparing Sean Tucker to a horse. Because that's what we do here. We don't compare Sean Tucker to a running back. We compare him to a horse. He has such a great burst, gives him such an advantage over linebackers that really can't get their foot in the ground quick enough, because that's another thing he does. He can get that foot in his ground like he's one of those studs that you put into a tent, putting them into the ground, just puts it right in there. I love Sean Tucker as a runner. He's an able receiver. I don't think there's really much to talk about there. I love his balance. One thing when he's not getting really hit, he's getting arms, like he's running through everybody. He's getting arms everywhere. He doesn't lose anything. Like he's not like getting hit a little bit. He's not trying to just avoid. No, he's just going to run through you. He's 5'10". He's, I believe, 210. Sean Tucker, great running back. This isn't a knock on him. This is just me personally. I just want to see a little bit more out of pass pro. It's not me saying, oh, he's bad at pass pro. I just want to watch it more because I value pass pro very highly for running backs. And yeah, I would expect Tucker to be one of the first running backs taken on day 2, because I do think we'll see one on day 1 this year. He doesn't rush things. He's got great patience. He waits for that lane to form. I love Sean Tucker. I think second round is not anything to say, oh, that's too high. I love Sean Tucker. And my sleeper, I'll talk about, I believe Liam knows who I'm about to say, Kevin Brown from Incarnate Word. If you're not going to watch Incarnate Word football, fine. Watch Kevin Brown, though, because he has some insane statistics. I don't care that it's the FCS. You just play who your competition is. Dude hasn't fumbled in 3 years. Not even like a fumble that his team picked up. No, he just hasn't lost the football. He has insane YPC.
Glued to his hands.
This thing, if I can pick up my football, this thing doesn't leave the arm. That's a good thing. A lot of coaches preach football is like your baby. You don't drop it. He doesn't drop his baby.
Throw it.
Okay, a little bit of an overthrow. Sorry. But no, I'm really intrigued to see what Kevin Brown can do this year. I don't think losing Cam Ward is going to be a massive hit for him personally. I think it's going to be a massive hit for UIW.
Of course.
But I love his speed. I love his ability as a runner. I think he's one of those sleeper FCS guys that we could look at and be like, man, no one was talking about him going into the year, but now going into the pre-draft process, we're talking about him as, could he sneak into day 2, maybe a round 4 guy?
Like that call a lot, man. And, Sean Tucker, going back to him, Trevor Stickham as number 2 running back right now in the upcoming draft. Hopefully Sean Tucker will tweet out in a few days. Woke up, had breakfast, went to YouTube. Andrew Wilson's talking me up as one of the best running backs in the country. Had a good day, but a lot more work to do.
Very pleased that I'm getting deserved recognition.
Very pleased with the transfer portal CFB. I'm going to talk about another offensive lineman who just keep an eye on this guy. Trevor Reed, offensive tackle, left tackle at Louisville. He's a JUCO product, by way of the Georgia Military College. Powerhouse, am I right? Going back to Georgia, I guess, with this video. Dude, he's 6'5", 307, but he's an athletic specimen. 35.5-inch vertical, as reported. This all reported by Bruce Feldman before last season started. 35.5-inch vertical, a 4.940, and he had 18% body fat at the time of that reporting for Bruce. So good work by Bruce. In 2021, 13 games, 701 snaps. He allowed 10 QB hurries, 5 QB hits, and 2 sacks. A lot of people will be watching Louisville this year. Fun offense to watch. Malik Cunningham at quarterback. How could you not be infatuated with that offense? Trevor Reed's going to be a guy that a lot of eyes are on, whether people realize it or not. Like they might not be watching for him, but they might catch glimpses and be like, this guy's pretty good. He's got superb footwork. He's really quick. He's really balanced and succeeds at a high level in both the pass and run game. What I need to see from him, because I can't talk about him enough with how great of an athletic freak he is. Like he's going to, again, when you get to the combine stuff, he's going to win a lot of people over with the combine, with the athletic testing. What he needs on the field is to become more of a physically imposing presence, someone that will use his strength more to his advantage and blend into a monster of a tackle. Just figure that out. And I the sky's the limit. I guarantee that Trevor Reed's going to blow up when that 2023 pre-draft process really begins, as people start to dive into the prospect pool more and come across this athletic monster that has a tremendous base to work off of. With some good coaching and proper development, you could turn him into a really dang good offensive lineman, whether it's a tackle or guard. I'm not sure of his football history, if he's played guard much, but looking at his profile, I think he could do work there. And if I'm an NFL team, I'd be really excited, and I would trust my development team to work with a player like this and see what he could become. I think Trevor Reed is going to be a very intriguing prospect, and he's not someone that many, if any, are talking about.
You want me to stay on the offensive line?
You do what you want, Andrews. Are you going to compare him to a brick wall?
Well, what I want to do is kill this freaking mosquito that's buzzing around me, because it is freaking annoying, but not really much I can do about that right now. But what I can do is I can tell you about Jalen Duncan, the offensive tackle from Maryland. Now, unlike Liam's guy, Duncan's gotten a good amount of recognition over the last few weeks, I'd say. I mean, one of the few people who has great film against that elite tandem last year of David Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, we saw this a few years ago where we looked at a prospect who had great, film against a top-end edge class, or I guess recruit, because it was just one player. Remember when Rashawn Slater had that amazing tape against Chase Young? Well, Jalen Duncan had amazing film against another number 2 overall pick, and another should have been first rounder was actually, I believe he was actually 40, David Ojabo. I believe he was number 40 overall to Baltimore, if not a little bit later. Shouldn't have been any later than 20, because that's how amazing he was, but that's a tangent I'll try not to go on.
45.
I suck at this.
We're bad at numbers. Like, we're good at this.
I'm good at numbers. I'm bad at remembering. But off that tangent and on to Jalen Duncan. I love his athleticism. He's got great lateral movement for an offensive lineman. I love his toughness. What I will say, he's not a perfect prospect. He has a problem that a lot of tackles end up having, and I think some people kind of overlook. He needs to work on his hand placement, and he needs to work on his hip height. His pad level, it's a little high. I need to see a little bit more leverage, get down a little bit more, and I need to see those hands where they need to be. They're not always, but if he can work on those, my gosh, he's a fun tackle to watch. I think he could end up starting very easily. He'll probably end up round 1, 2. I don't know his current stock as of right now. If he works on those, I love him as a prospect. In a class where we don't have a ton of like we don't have that super top end tackle this year. Like we've got some of the guys like Skoronski and Paris Johnson, but we don't have like
Paris is good.
Yeah, I like Paris. I don't know what the heck Ohio State was doing. I mean, obviously they had other guys at tackle, but we don't have that. Like going into the year, we didn't have a Penei Sewell. We don't have a Penei Sewell this year, who was projected to be a super top pick. He ended up going, that one was 7. I know them for a fact was 7. Because I thought Micah Parsons was going to go 7 to Detroit. He ended up going 11 to Dallas. See, now I'm getting my numbers right. And now I'm still going on that stupid tangent. I love Jalen Duncan. Maryland should be a fun year for offensive linemen in the Big Ten.
My list concludes going out to Fresno State, who owns the Big Ten's premier school, UCLA. Oh, well, it's okay. Look, man, what's Jake Haener going to do this year? Accumulate big numbers. I was very surprised that Haener and Jalen Cropper both returned to Fresno State. Was hearing a lot of things that they were both bound for Washington. Neither of them end up there with DeBoer. Look, man, Cropper is going to tear it up in 2022, and he needs to. In 2021, in just 13 games, in 13 games, he had 85 catches for 899, 11 touchdowns, 10.6 yards per catch. The 10.6 number is unacceptable, honestly. That number needs to rise. He needs to get back to that 14, 15 YPC range that he's very capable of. Get back there, man. He's 6 foot, 173-pound receiver that will need to put on some more weight. But regardless, I think he's a pro player, and it's pretty dang evident. You're looking at someone who has a knack for finding the soft spots in coverage, and he consistently gets open. When you watch Fresno State, who is flying off the screen? It's Jalen Cropper going deep over the middle on vertical crossing routes over and over and over again. I'm so surprised that his YPC number is that low because he does that so often. But, I mean, they get him the ball short and everything, and I don't know. Whatever, though, I love the way that he paces himself during his routes. He's a smooth route runner. He's able to separate from DBs rep after rep. I believe that he showcases excellent ball tracking skills. Truly does. Footwork is pretty dang slick, too. And, love Mountain West receivers, as do you. What did we see last year with our guy, Khalil Shakir, a Mountain West star? He crushed it, and he went way later than he should have in the draft.
Oh my God,
it wasn't right. So I have no trust in the NFL getting this right with Cropper. I think he's going to go a lot later than he should, but the dude's an NFL receiver, and y'all's got to trust me. This is someone that will impact the NFL game in a positive way. He's a receiver that knows how to get open. He runs really good routes. And his vertical crossing route game is supreme. He's a really good receiver. As long as he can add some weight, accumulate more yards per catch this season, he should be a guy that goes, late round 3, early round 4. I think he's really good, and I just want more people to realize that Jalen Cropper he's an NFL receiver. I don't know, man. Fresno State puts out goons no matter the sport. They just do. They're a pro factory.
Wait, what other sports do they? I honestly
Aaron
don't.
Judge for baseball, Paul George.
He went to Fresno State?
Yes, Paul George for basketball. You have Carr and Devontae in football. Of course, just some of the top guys. They put out dudes. Yeah, they don't mess around at Fresno State, man. We're talking about 2008 college baseball world champs.
You know what? That's, can't take that away from them. I was unaware. I'm not a big Fresno State outside of football guy, so maybe I now need to be. But yeah, you talked about our guy Khalil Shakir, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about Khalil Shakir. I don't care that this is a 2023 video. Who the heck let Khalil Shakir end up with Josh Allen?
Inept franchises over and over and over and over again to prioritize the way worse receivers over a really dang good one and really messed up.
Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Khalil Shakir. Wow.
A lot of franchises in both NFL and NBA that continue to prove that they're incapable of actually doing their jobs, and that me, you, and so many others are actually way better than them. Those people are the ones that let Khalil Shakir go the 974th pick in the 2022 draft.
Yeah, he was in the 5th round, and I had him as my 4th graded wide receiver. And I feel like that was still kind of low.
And what really stinks with that is that what stinks with that, man, is that when you're so high on a receiver like Shakir, like we both are, and he's fringe top 5 for me, he's top 4 for you, that draft capital could kill you. Like, if you never get the chance to go on the field and prove your worth because of that draft capital attached to you, you never know what you're going to become. And it's going to stink because people are going to laugh at you, Andrew, and say you're garbage for ranking 4. It's not your fault the guy never got a chance to play and prove his worth.
Yeah, I stand on my hill. I'll die on it.
If he ever got a chance, if he ever gets a chance to prove himself, he's going to crush it. All you need is an opportunity.
Yeah, and then they'll say, "Oh wow, you were both geniuses." No, we just watched football.
Yes, all these guys were talking about, whether they're well-known names or lesser-known names or bigger-known prospects, lesser-known prospects, whatever. All they need is an opportunity in the NFL to thrive. That's all they need. Give Jalen Cropper opportunity.
Give him an opportunity, and we're going to get an opportunity to see Arquan Bush, corner, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's produced some pretty good corners over the last few years, I'd say. Ain't that right, Liam?
I'd have to agree with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, 2 last year, including another safety. But Arquan Bush, last year mainly a slot guy. But this year I would expect a move to the outside just because they did lose so much talent on the outside. And I think we're going to have a very interesting matchup week 1. Arquan Bush going up against Jadon Hazelwood in Arkansas. If Arquan Bush can lock down Jadon Hazelwood, who hasn't been the most productive ever since being a 5-star recruit. I believe he was one of, if not the top wide receiver in the country that he got recruited. What?
I did not know that. I'm not a recruiting guy. I didn't know that.
Hazelwood was, I want to say, like 4th in the country total.
What?
I can, you know what? We're doing this on the fly. I can check his recruiting.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, no. Number 1 receiver in the 2019 class and number 4 national. He was a .9967.
That's bad. I don't know recruiting rankings. I didn't know that. I just try to wait till they get to college football and watch them. Not once have I ever thought of him as a dude.
Yeah, Hazelwood was super highly touted going into OU.
Crazy.
Never really had the super production, even when they had the great year of Rattler, even when they had last year with Caleb Williams and the first half of awful Spencer Rattler. But now he's going to go to Arkansas. He's got KJ Jefferson. And we're going to have a massive matchup between Bush and Hazelwood. If Bush can lock down Hazelwood, that's a massive ego boost for Cincinnati because a lot of people are going to be super down on them, me included, because they lost so much talent. But if
Arquan Bush, sauce.
They lost a lot of sauce, but hopefully they can return some juice. But okay. I love Arquan Bush. He's going to be outside, even though he is slot. I love him as a run defender from the outside. He's not, afraid by any means. He's willing. He wants to put you on your butt. He wants to make your pants have a little bit of grass and dirt on them. He's just one of those type of physical guys. He's a high IQ player. He's not easily fooled by line of scrimmage deception. Worst case, absolute worst case, he doesn't have the greatest year and a team drafts him as a slot corner. Okay, cool. Best case, he shows out his talent. He shows out his athleticism. And that's a tough word to say when you're like speeding through stuff.
No.
Athleticism. How many different. No, but when you're talking super fast, you got to be like, oh, and he's going to show out his athleticism. Okay, maybe I just suck at talking. But if he shows out his athleticism, he could prove like, hey, Cincinnati is just a cornerback factory right now. Luke Fickell's got something amazing going on at Cincinnati. Obviously, we know that because he took them to the playoff and everything. But no, I think Arquan Bush can really turn a lot of heads. Cincinnati, yes, they lost 2 corners and a safety. That doesn't mean that they're going to suck there because you know what? Because you got talent on the field, you got a little bit of talent on the bench. And that bench is about to be on the field. Even though Arquan Bush played in the slot, you know what I mean. Arquan Bush. Get ready. Jadon Hazelwood and KJ Jefferson need to be watching tape right now because they should be scared.
Yeah, Arc One has a massive opportunity. Yeah, but he has the opportunity to make so much money this season in a bigger role. Good for him. I think he's going to thrive too.
Yeah, there's so many good corners this year. It's
yeah,
actually insane.
And honestly, we should probably wrap this video up right now. It went a lot longer than I think last year's did, and we gave you 20+1 prospects technically. And some other guys we referenced. And you need to go watch those videos if you want for more 23 draft coverage. But I don't know, man. I think we did good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say this was a success. And this is one of those types of videos you can come back during the season and be like, okay, how's this going? How's Cam Ward going? How's Clark Phillips doing? This is one of those videos where it's not just a one and done. You can come back to this like, oh, I didn't know Cam Ward was this good. Let me turn on this video and see what Andrew has to say. Or Clark Phillips of Utah. What does Liam have to say? Or, Sean Tucker.
The 19 Georgia guys we talked about.
And not even just Georgia, the Bulldogs. We talked about Georgia Southern. Talked
Georgia
about
Military College.
Georgia Military College. This is just a pro Georgia podcast.
Apparently it is. And I thank you all for watching and listening. Really appreciate it. I'm sorry that it went this long. Neither of us actually thought it would go this long. We're so, how do you say, passionate about the draft and, trying to really dot this stuff, be right, grow our resumes or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm thrilled with this. I hope you guys are too. Please consider, again, liking and or subscribing. Please comment who you think we should have talked about or that we should talk about in the future. We're always trying to make more videos, man. And there's a lot out there that we could do. We stumbled upon 2 things today, apparently. That's comparing players to chess in a transfer portal CFB spelling bee. So maybe those are in the future. Don't know. Go check out our drawing video where I drew bad logos and Andrew hated on me for it. There's a lot of stuff you can watch. We're trying to do a lot more content, a lot of stuff planned for this 2022 season.
Watch out for conference previews.
Yeah, conference previews very soon. But yeah, I'm sorry if it's gone on way too long. Thank you again so much. Appreciate you and see you on the next one. Goodbye.